I think it's more important to have like what fuels you to get up in the morning. So when I
Yeah.
tell people like, "Hey, wake up before you go to work," or people always have excuses, right? Like, "Hey, like I want to make an extra, $10,000, a year or whatever like that, but I can't because of my job." All right, maybe you got to start a new business on the side. Well, I can't. I know. I work too much. I got the kids in the morning. Well, why don't you wake up like maybe like an hour and a half before the kids wake up? Oh, I can't. I need my sleep.
Right.
All right, then that why is more important than or that sleep. Your sleep is more important than your why.
Yeah,
You know,
the sleep is a priority
yeah,
rather
and you're gonna
than
wake up
like
10 years
getting
from
that
now, be in the
energy
same
every day.
spot you are, wishing you had more money, and wish you would have started a business.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We're gonna have Brian start singing. Brian, why don't you bring us in today,
Oh,
bro?
you do not want me singing, man. You do not.
Come on, man. Give me a little
We're
Shooby
gonna
Dooby
lose the
Doo.
little subscribers that we have. We need to get some subscribers, not lose them.
We need all the subscribers.
Yeah,
Like, listen, if Brian, yeah, okay. Well, Brian, we're not gonna have you sing that. It's
yeah.
a wrap. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to It's More Than Black and White. This is Paul, Brian.
Brian is Brian looking forward. Is our fourth or fifth episode right now?
It's like, yeah, damn. It's
Yeah,
our fifth.
fifth one. All right, we launched two of
Um,
them, so we're fifth
wow.
one. All right, yeah, we're cruising
Wow.
along, my man.
Yeah,
Cruising
dang,
along.
man. It's like,
Woo.
chicka, 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 chicka,
Yeah,
chicka, chicka.
we got a lot to talk about in the future.
Oh, brother,
Yeah.
we're just getting started. So, like, completely being selfish. Like, one of the things, the editing and going through the editing and listening to like what we're saying, it's a gift and a curse because it's like, man, like this content's really great, man. I dig this content. And then at the same time, it's like my perfectionism kicks in. I'm like, oh, why did I say that? Like, what's wrong with the quality? Well, so it's like, bro,
Just have
it's
fun with
so
it, my man. Just have fun
huh?
with it. Just
Yeah,
have fun with it.
it is so fun, man,
Yeah.
because it's finding like these tools. Like I've been playing with this thing, Headliner. Have you ever
Mhm.
heard of this thing?
No.
So Headliner is this app where you can so like now I'm playing with loading some of the audio content from what we've recorded before, and then what it'll do is it'll like create the wave and we can have a picture and whatnot, so at least people can hear pieces of the content.
Oh, nice.
If not like if they're like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to commit," and then
Yeah.
if we have like a couple of things where it's like, "Yo, that sounds pretty good." Click. Now, great, man. We're here. Here we go, man. So
Love it.
it's like that's the fun part of me. I'm like an explorer, man. I'm like,
That's it. Yeah, I'm not a tech guy, man. No, no,
bro,
not me.
I'm kidding. You're like,
Not me,
nah.
man. I can break
This
shit very good, very easily.
you can
I
what?
can break shit easily. I'm
Oh
horrible.
shit.
I'm good at that.
You're like, I will
Yeah,
break some
I know
shit.
my weaknesses, and tech is one of my weaknesses.
Man, listen, you know what, man? What did Clint Eastwood said? A man's got to know his limitations.
That's it.
Clint Eastwood. So listen, today, man, this is well rather over today in this session, man, and we've been having some fresh sessions with like how we're talking or like the topics that we're talking and discussing, and I think today is another pretty cool one where we're talking about habits. A lot of
Mm.
the things that we've talked about are like leading a nutrition fitness program. Like while Brian and I we share content that we think is relevant, we think is helpful, and at the same time, it's a lot. These things that we're saying are going to depend on you.
That's
You
it.
taking. You know what I'm saying, Brian? It's like, yo, we could talk till the cows come home,
Exactly.
and so
It's the old saying: "We can lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink it, though."
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And the thing too is like, Brian, I was like yesterday, like I think it was this morning. I was thinking about our conversation, our prep the other day, and I was thinking about the the challenges that can come from creating a habit to implementing these things, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the or in this session, the power of habits. and what's necessary to create a sustainable lifestyle change. Because listen, we're talking about lifestyle change. This isn't for some like bullshit. Like, yeah, like this is what you got to do, man. We're doing this and putting the time into this because we want you to feel fulfilled. We want you to experience life to the fullest. So what that means is that you're gonna have to create some habits, man. Brian, let me ask you a question. What's your favorite? What's your favorite habit? What's your favorite habit that you've taken on?
So about, I would say about maybe 8 years ago, one of the things I did was I was tired of working corporate. I was tired of management. I was tired of just like getting one day you're awesome, next day your head's on the chopping block, and it was just like, and one thing that it pissed me off was like I'll know I would never be my boss's or the owner's next door neighbor. That makes sense on a financial level. I would never live across the street for him, no matter how hard I work. I wouldn't be able to be financially free from what I want out of life.
Yeah.
From what I want out of life, my job could not support that. So I made it a mission of mine to just say, as I was training clients at the time. So just say I had a client at 9 o'clock in the morning. I would wake up 3 to 4 hours early every single morning before my first client, and I would work, get stuff done. And I made it a habit. So if I had a client at 9 o'clock, I wake up 5, 6 o'clock every morning, and I would just work, 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 learning new things. Even if I didn't know what I was going to do, I would try to make a list the night before I would go to bed.
Mhm.
And even if I didn't know what I was doing or I get stuck, I would just get on my laptop and I would just like YouTube things that I'm stuck on, and then I would get some kind of inspiration. And my goal would try to learn like two or three things every single morning before I actually go into work, or try to get better at maybe email marketing, or try to get better at, maybe I was like down in the dumps, like something was going on in my life, so I was trying to give me like affirmations, or I would do meditation, learn meditation techniques or anything like that. So
Yeah.
those 3 hours minimum every single day before my client, I would do that. I'd wake up early.
So what I'm hearing is you made a habit of learning. You
Yeah,
made it into a habit.
it gets watered down a lot, and you see a lot of these corporate businesses. They talk about your why. So nowadays, like, everyone's like, yeah, 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 your why, blah 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 blah, because it gets so played out. Everyone's like, oh, what's your why? What's your why? But
Right.
really, that's what you need to have, a good why. If you don't have a good why, you're not going to know how to deal with the hows, right? So my why was, all right, I want to be financially free. I want to be able, freedom is my biggest thing. Like I need to come and go as I please. I don't want to be told I got to be somewhere from 9 to 5. That
Yeah.
that just that's restricting my freedom. So that's when I jumped on the entrepreneurial kind of bandwagon. I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit. I've had spirit. I've always had businesses on the side, but then now I was like, all right, time to get serious with this. And
Hmm.
my why was, again, freedom. And then every morning I woke up early, sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was. And I'm tired in the morning, but I know freedom was going to be my outlet eventually. And that's where I am kind of right now, which I worked hard towards that.
Hmm.
Makes sense a little bit?
A lot.
A lot of, yep.
Uh, where my mind is right now is I'm thinking, we want to, when Brian and I, when we have these conversations and have these sessions, we're like, okay, let's talk about this. And one of the things we wanted to talk about was the science of habit and
Mm,
behavior change. And after what I heard you say about, what I was hearing is there was a why that powered the habit.
yeah.
So there was a habit of learning that was powered by blank.
Hmm.
So I'm like thinking like, is that the science of a habit? Like it's like truly the science of a habit. Like it's powered by something more. It's powered by something bigger than self. Like when you're talking about, I want to learn because I want to get on this level and I want to do
Yeah.
this. I know I may never get to that cat's level. I'm going to get beyond it, so I got to do my thing. That means
Yeah.
I get to learn. Like that means I'm waking up this time, like even if I'm tired, I'm waking up at blah, blah. Doesn't matter. What are we learning? What are we learning today?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna learn it. You know what I mean? It's like there's
Yeah.
a space that you made a habit of creating for yourself that is solely about learning, and I think
Yeah.
that's freaking huge, man. Because I'm starting to look at my habits like, damn, are my habits powered by wise? Like, that's powerful, man. Because I know you like we talked about this and you got the stats.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of hubbub about how long it takes to make a habit.
Yeah.
What is there is like because I've heard stuff like 21, 30, 45, 6 months. Like, and I'm talking, I want to, let's get clear. I'm talking a sustainable habit, not some
Yeah.
shit that you're going to put and do like, so you're good for like the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I think people just kind of make up numbers, or like, to try to separate themselves from different people. Like, oh, 14 days to create a habit, 21 days to create a habit, 35
Right.
days, 42. It's like every day it's like a new number. It's not like, hey, 21 days to make a habit, on the 20th day is not a habit. All of a sudden you wake up on the 21st day and boom, it's a habit. You know, oh, you're right. 21 is a
I've
magic
been
number.
activated.
You
Yeah.
know, I don't. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't kind of buy into all that. I mean, I guess a little bit when you have like, because we talk about neuroplasticity, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically like, you basically have this. So basically, neuroplasticity, the definition is the ability of the brain to change and adapt based on experiences to build new habits.
Yeah.
So the more you are doing things and creating new experiences, the more you're going to have these new neural pathways, right, to build these new habits. And you almost become like not addicted to it, but it just creates that pattern that wasn't there before.
Right.
So for me, it's like, yeah, I don't really believe in the amount of days. I think it's more important to have like what fuels you to get up in the morning. So when I
Yeah.
tell people like, hey, wake up before you go to work, or people always have excuses, right? Like, hey, like I want to make an extra, $10,000, a year or whatever like that, but I can't because of my job. All right, maybe you got to start a new business on the side. Well, I can't. I know I work too much. I
Right.
got the kids in the morning. Well, why don't you wake up like maybe like an hour and a half before the kids wake up? Oh, I can't. I need my sleep.
Right.
All right, then that why is more important than or that sleep. Your sleep is more important than your why.
Yeah.
You know,
The sleep is a priority
yeah,
rather
and you're gonna
than
wake up
like
10 years
getting
from
that
now being the
energy.
same spot you are, wishing you had more money, and wish you would have started a business. You
Yeah, and
know,
the sleep is most likely BS because they're probably sleeping like crap anyway.
yeah, and in reality, it's like most people
Like,
they
they have
need
no
probably
energy.
yeah, most people like they sleep like probably like 5-6 hours a night. And you know what? If you eat healthier, you can bounce back a lot quicker.
Yeah, yeah,
With a
man.
good mindset, you're going to bounce back a lot quicker. You don't need that much more sleep when you're with a good mindset. You don't need
Yeah,
extra sleep.
dude. Well, so man, this is like taking a turn, man,
Hmm.
because like to me, the science is the repetition and the practice, man.
Yeah.
It's free. It's like now I'm like starting to think like, is there even a difference between a habit and a practice? Like,
Mm.
you
Yeah.
know, because if you think about it, like what you, I say this all the time at work. I even say it in yoga. I even like when I would train, I want to train more often. Even when I train now, I'm like, let's get the reps in. Like when people are like learning a new movement, it's like that's part of the
Mm.
programming. Like, yes, like oh, we do this last week? Yes, this is a yes. We'll do some variations, but like until you get the reps and you start using things you get to use, we're gonna train different things until like, oh, hey, there you go. You're naturally doing it now. It's a
Yeah.
pattern, right? It's a rep. It's a habit.
Yeah.
Now it becomes a habit. Like, and I see over time, like, I like to train long term. So it's like, if someone's like, yeah, I'm going to work out 7 days a week. I'm like, oh, yeah?
Mhm.
How many days you work out now? None. Well,
Yeah.
like, yo, mother hoo ha, why don't we do this? Let's see if you make 3 days a week.
Exactly.
Let's go. And
Yeah.
I do that, bro. That's what I've been doing with my clients. Like I'll test for a month. I'm like, look, let's see your habits for a month.
Yeah.
Because the patterns are always going to tell me the tale. They
Sure.
will always tell me what's really going on, right? If I take myself out and look over a month, what are the habits that you have, right? Like, so so how, okay, so Brian, let me ask you, bro, how can you know if a habit is a good one or a bad one? How would you be able to set the distinction?
So like I would go into like, so everybody can be motivated. Motivation is very
Right.
easy. to get motivated. Everyone wants, oh, let's start a new business. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's get a new workout program. Let's,
Yeah.
whatever it is. But it's the discipline that's tough to hold on to, because it's not going to be every morning you wake up and that alarm clock goes off at say 4:30 in the morning. You're not going to be motivated, but you got to rely on discipline to get you there. So I think a habit is evolved and flowing when you do things that needs to be done, even though you don't want to do them. When that discipline kicks in, that'd be my 2 cents
Okay.
on it.
Yeah.
So when you're not motivated but you're still doing it regardless, I would look at that as a habit.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because like my freaking cynical analytical mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, what about the person that's addicted to exercise, right? Because I'm thinking, because I'm when I first started training, I used to work at this Springfield YMCA. It was like one of those community little YMCA's and
Yeah.
shit. And I remember that was the first experience. I worked there for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And like being there in the community, that was my first experience working with people that were addicted to exercise and like had body dysmorphia and like were in anorexia,
Yeah.
and what to do to have these kinds of conversations. And that's why I also recognize, like, I would see things a certain way. Like, yo, this cat is on the treadmill for like 2 hours, and then like they've been here for my whole shift. I've been here for 5 hours. Like, what the
Yeah.
like, and they look like crap, like gaunt, like,
Exactly.
hey,
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah.
I'm like, God
Face all
damn.
sunken in. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Nothing
And
else
like,
to give.
having those
Yeah.
conversations, huh?
Nothing else to give. No energy left to give, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
having those conversations, it came to like, the addiction was that's a habit for them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's how they've taught themselves to, exercise, yes, and to manage stress and
Yeah.
to curb hunger and all these different things and to like deal with life. So I was like, dang, man, like that. And that's when I recognized, I was like, dang, a habit can really be something shitty, man. Like, God, I
Yeah. I
gotta be
mean,
careful, man.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's semantics, but I don't know if a habit would be considered an addiction. Maybe.
In
I
that
guess.
case,
I
it
guess. I
could.
mean, you
In
should have
that
healthy
case, it
habits and bad
was.
habits. Yeah. So maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
you know
that's
what I
that's
mean.
that's a tough situation. As my mentor always said, when in doubt, refer out. That
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that's what
that,
we
that
did
guy
too.
would need
Cause
a
I'm like, I'm
psychologist.
ill-equipped for this, son. I'm
Yeah,
like, yo,
exactly.
is there someone that you could talk to?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, yo,
yeah,
yeah, that's a wrap. So, like, coming back to this, so I want to like looking at the habit, right? So, once someone identifies the habit, and you talked about this neuroplasticity and being able to create something, and I really like what you said there about like what the why is, and like I'm curious though, like my mind goes to creating that why, and then what's a way to generate the habits, right? Like, is it because there's so many layers. That's the thing when like you and I get onto a topic. It's like, yeah, create a habit. But like, and well, what about what fuels that? Well,
yeah.
how do we go from here to here? So
Sure.
like,
I would look at it maybe like setting a goal. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? And then so the way I always set my personal goals, my business goals, whatever goals I have, I'll set a goal for say 5 years, or one. Just say I do 1 year. Just make it simple.
yeah,
Just say I want to make $100,000 this year, and my goal I would do all right. So it's January. By December, end of December, I want to make $100,000. Then I
mm-hmm,
would do what they call like a retro analysis, meaning that by the first 3 months, if my goal is to make $100,000, by the first 3 months, I should be making $25,000. I should have $25,000 made. Makes sense. Every
yeah,
quarter should be at $25,000. At the end of the year, you have $100,000. All right, so
mm-hmm,
that's 25,000. Now, just say, all right. Now, what does that break down to? Okay, I need to make whatever 25,000 divided by three, $8,300. Just say $8,300 and change. I need to make now a month. All right,
Mm,
cool. Just say 9,000 to make numbers easy. Just say I need
yeah.
to make $9,000 a month. All right, now how do I got it? $9,000 every 3 months? I'm sorry, $9,000 a month. Now what do I need to make every single day? Divide that by 30. Now I need to make $300 every day. Then you can even break it down by the hour. Divide 300 divided by 24 or
Yeah.
whatever that number is.
Right.
So then I'd be like, all right, I need to say $300 a day. How do I make $300 a day? What's the quickest way for me to make $300 a day? What's the easiest way to make $300 a day? And I don't need to make $300 on the first day, but my goal would be to have by the end of the year to have a fine tuned like business plan kind of flowing on its own. So, what are some steps I need to do? Do I need to learn how to market? Do I need to find a need that people need or a need that to give the society or whatever it is? What do people want? What would people pay for a service? And I'd try to just kind of brainstorm around that. I would look at the market. Hey, man, this is like, whatever. Say, I don't know, like alkaline water. You want to create an alkaline water. There's a huge market for that, probably $1 billion market. All right,
Mm.
then my mindset's like, all right, I need to get 1% of 1% of 1% of that, and I'll easily make $100,000 a year. So how do I get that target? Does that
So
make
like
sense?
so yeah, so I'm thinking of like I'm looking for what are the ways you turn that into the habit? Because what I'm
Mm-hmm.
hearing you say is like, okay, I have a finite goal. Okay, I have a long term goal that I'm going to hit, and then I'll reverse engineer it back to look at, okay, what do I make per month, per day, per head? And then I heard you say it's basically like getting the resource to figure out, okay, this is what I'm going to do to make this. I need to research this. Like now, my question is like, what are the ways that gets turned into the habit?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking, because I see this as like, so for example, uh like I take this when I'm working with like with when I'm mentoring people, right? I'm looking at this as like what are your results? All
Yeah.
right. Like so like if someone's like, oh well, like this is where I like someone says, okay, what's your goal? Okay, I want to make $100,000. Okay, so what are your results? Right now I make $399.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, like let me be realistic. Like right now, I'm making $60,000. Okay, like what? Like let's look at like what are you doing today? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like what do you do? What do you? Okay, so what do you do that every day? Okay, and what are the results of that? Like how is that? Is that a way of that you're making money?
Yeah.
Right? Is that like because I look at it as especially when I'm looking at habits and I'm coaching people through habits and like being able to create the change because the change is a big piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what I get to do is okay, cool. That's where you want to go. Where are you now? What are you doing? Like, or even like,
Yeah.
well, what are you doing to get there?
Yeah. For
Uh,
me, for me, every time I started a business, or even if I wanted to get better at something,
yeah,
YouTube is so powerful, man.
very much so.
You can find anybody. So I find people that where I want to be.
Yeah,
I find people where I want to be. Like back in like 2016, me and my business partner we started an Amazon business. I knew nothing about Amazon. It's
mm,
like I knew nothing about it. I didn't no idea what to do. And fast forward in 7 years, I followed a lot of people, took a lot of courses, had a lot of mentors, and we grew it into a successful business. Well
mm,
over seven figures every year. So it's a
nice.
solid business. But that's because I found people that were better than me. I found people that were and whatever they were doing, I just mimicked their habits, you
Mm,
know.
mm,
And then
okay.
once I kind of dried out that well, and I got really good at that, and it was automated. I would find other people what they're doing. Because everyone, you can have 100 people that run their own, like for instance, their own Amazon business. Everyone's running it a little differently, but
Yeah,
everyone's got like the foundation, like the four or five things they all agree on. That everyone has their own little twist in it, and I would try to put my own little twist in it after kind of having that foundation. So my goal is like if you're once you find your why and what you're passionate about doing and what you like doing, find
yeah.
people out there that you can mentor. You don't do this by yourself, man. There's
Nah, definitely not. Well,
so many good resources.
that's the piece too, man. Because and this is where this is a really layered topic, because everyone's gonna have a different way of doing something. Everyone's gonna have a different way. The thing is like, okay, it's like a collection of these things. Okay, what's the why? Like, what? Okay, what do you want to achieve? Okay, what's the why to get? What's the why to get there? Like, I just want to make my money. Why though? Why? Like this, and as I'm saying this, I think this is the piece why this is. I think a piece where there's a. I judge that there's a decrease in discipline in our society,
Sure.
because it's easy to create some surface shit, like to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get up and do this. But then it becomes like, if the why is missing and someone comes up with some bullcrap why, like, I just want to make more money. Well, why do you want to make more money? Well, I wanna go buy a car. Well, what's gonna the car gonna give you? What's gonna give me confidence?
Hmm.
Okay, so you want freaking confidence. Like,
Yeah.
what are the habits that you can use to build confidence? Well, I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna freaking build my bank account. Okay. Now when you're building these, now what's the one thing you gotta do a day to help you build a bank account? Now I gotta make a habit of checking my stock, or I gotta make a habit of checking my bank account. And it's funny, right? Speaking of this, because I've talked about this in past episodes. Like, one of the things that I recognize, especially my finances, as I'm rewiring myself, I recognized one of the things is I would be free of looking at my accounts. I was resistant to look at my accounts during the week. So I would just, like, if I was like, I would be undisciplined. I'd be like, blah, lunch.
Hmm.
I think I have the money, blah. So I made a habit every day, like, okay, what are my accounts? I'm going to check my accounts. Also, like, in that checking, I'm like, okay, what bills just came out? What bills are coming? All right, make sure that I got, so it's now all of a sudden now it's like I got a habit when I fail to when I fail to do that junk in the day, believe me, it doesn't even last a day, because I'm like, yo, well, hold up, where am I? Now to me, I'm like, it becomes automatic, and it's better for my well being. I'm finding like there's less overdraft fees, like,
Yeah.
there's less anxiety and all this stuff. And I'm like, because I just changed
Yeah.
one thing, I created one different habit. So so people, when we're talking about this stuff, like, the reason we're talking about it is because, again, like we said before, we're looking for you to live an intentional life, like you experience fulfillment, and part of that is really getting down to the freaking nitty gritty and getting concrete about what the hell you want, and like what you're gonna do to get there. Because listen, you, like, right now we're talking about the good habits. Let's take a quick turn about some of the bad trash habits that I can get in. I'm gonna be friends by everybody else, because I'd be here all day. But, like, so right.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know where. I mean, yeah, that's a loaded question there, buddy.
that's a loaded one, bro. So, like, listen, how?
Uh,
So, okay, let's talk about this, because this bad habits. Let's not even get into bad habits, because everyone knows what it is, and and really that's subjective. Um, or objective. I don't know what's wrong. But
yeah.
anyway, I like to get your take on what are the ways that someone, like, they know they have a bad habit and they want to shift it. What if you come across someone like that? What is like a tip or two, or maybe even three, that you're giving them to help them shift that bad habit?
Man, I've been reading a lot of Joe Dispenza stuff lately. I've been reading a lot of John Cohee stuff lately. So he talks about dark shadows, light shadow, doing your shadow work.
Mm.
So, for example, like your light shadow is all these. We talked about this in a past episode. When you're the universe wants you to express yourself, right? So they give you these unique qualities, like that it's never they like there will never be another Paul Newell ever again. With your ability to do something unique that has never been done, never will be done ever again. So you have these things, these gifts, these things within you that are just kind of like held down deep inside. Then you also have these what they call like your dark shadows. So if I was going to
Mm.
mentor you, Paul, and I'd be like, like, all right, how do you create a habit? Or like, I want to do something, but it's hard for me to do it. I'd be like, all right, Paul, what's your what's your goal? What do you want to do? I want to make $1 million a year. Why aren't you there? Well, making $1 million a year, that's tough to do. I don't have the time for it. So all these thoughts that you're putting in your head are from your past experiences, or people just kind of brainwashed you, or the schooling system brainwashed you, or whatever kind of brainwashed
Yeah.
you. So you had
Yeah.
these negative mindsets. First thing I'd be like, Paul, I would be like, I've known you for a while, man. You're a smart, intelligent guy. People like to work with you. You're an honest person. Like, you can network, you can make good money. Like, this is you. You have that ability. It's not hard making money. It's really not hard. You got to have that abundance way, whether you like believe it or not. Like, this is where you have to have a great imagination. That's like Disney said. I mean, one thing you can have is have a good imagination, and
Yes,
put
bro.
yourself in that, where you got to really, 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 really believe that it's not hard making money. There's an abundance amount of money. I mean, I meet people all the time that have so much money, and I'm like, dude, there's no way these people are smarter than me. And I say this in a very humble way. Like,
Yeah.
I appreciate them. Like, I love these people, but like, I know they
You're
don't have
like,
a good work load.
how? What?
But a lot of these people, they have that mindset that like, oh, money's easy for me. Money's easy for me. When you
Exactly,
really
man.
think money's easy to make, it becomes easy to make. And
Yep.
that's the whole neuroplasticity. You got to change your emotional, your mind state. If you're always thinking, oh, it's tough to make money, it's going to take forever for me to get to that point, or I don't know where to start, I don't know,
Yeah.
like, I don't have the time to do it. You got to be like, I know where to find the content.
Yep.
It's not going to take that much time, you know,
Yep.
whatever it is, and you got to change those thoughts around. And that's what you got
Yeah,
to do. So you got
bro.
to work on those dark shadows. Then once you start peeling away those dark shadows, all those things that are those disbeliefs or misbeliefs or whatever I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
and you get rid of those, that's when the light shadows come up, and you'd be like, holy shit, I didn't even know I had all these gifts, man. Like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
were like
Yeah, bro.
buried down in my subconscious for all these years, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you just like it's like a flower. You just start blooming. You know,
Yeah.
that's basically what it. That's where I would go in my coaching.
So it's thank you for that, man. Because what I'm hearing you say is also about it's about inner work,
Oh fuck yeah,
because it's knowing because like those bad habits can be driven by a darker shadow, something that's like looking to avoid, or something that's like either
easily.
looking to avoid or looking to protect the self from.
Yeah,
And then being able to adjust the mindset and the belief system around it is huge, man.
the hardest thing you'll ever do is look at yourself in the mirror and work on yourself,
Yeah, man.
because you
Yes.
have to be vulnerable. If you're
Yes.
if you're not if you're not what's the word? If you're not comfortable being vulnerable, you're never going to be successful.
It's a wrap,
You'll
bro.
never be successful.
It's
You
a wrap.
know.
Bro, you hit it right on the head, man. And I think it's also a piece of being coachable, and also being willing to follow. Like, follow someone, sure, and more follow self. Like, follow the instinct of self that's like, yo,
Yeah,
you know what? Go do this, instead of be like, shut up, gut.
yeah.
Someone
I mean,
else told me to do this, so I'm gonna go over here.
yeah.
Put it down. Just here's a cheeseburger.
Yeah, one
You
thing I learned in my spiritual path was everything stems from two emotions: love or fear. So
know?
if it's not out of love,
Mm,
something's holding. It's something in my dark shadow or something. So if like, oh, I don't need to
mm.
do that. Like, I'll figure it out on my own. That's a fear-based response. That's not a loving response. We are all connected. This is not a Newtonian model where everything is separate.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
all
yeah.
connected in this quantum field. So every kind of like thought that you have is kind of, even if it's like pessimistic, fear, whatever it is, it's all stemming from fear, and that's just bullshit. That's just
Mm,
stuff that's in your subconscious that has no logical approach to it whatsoever.
bro.
Change that into love, compassion, empathy,
It's
joy, freedom.
well, this and I'm digging everything you're saying, and also being, there's a piece of this that's like like you hit it on the head. The one of the densest pieces to being able to shift the stuff, or shift from the bad habit into something that's more productive, more in alignment, I'll say, is that looking at self. and being able to rewire the belief system that is more aligned to the poor habit or the habit that's keeping you average or keeping you whatever, man, keeping you stuck, versus being able to rewire to the good habits that are going to be like, okay, I'm going to do this because that's going to help
Yeah.
me get to this place. And a part of this, and another part I think that's really dense with this, and you mentioned it, is the imagination. You know, when I'm working, I'm a big fan of doing the shaman journeys, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that I prefer doing that is because the shamanism technique and the sound therapy activates those parts of the brains that can allow people to go into the dream state and go into that space where they can be in imagination yet be in a restful space. I think that's a really powerful place because most my judgment in working with others is that people will say I'll do a habit, and if they fail to do the stuff that you were saying, like do the inner work to challenge the belief systems, their habit's gonna fail every time.
Yeah.
It's gonna fail every freaking time. It's
Yeah.
like it's like, listen, maybe you'll go a little bit further, maybe you go a little bit further next time, and that's your sheer will, which is already something
Yeah.
to acknowledge, right? And the key piece is that until we acknowledge what's driving these habits, which you talked to before, we're going to be in the same place. And that's where this mental piece of the habits comes in. And I appreciate, and the imagination, making it sensory. Like, okay, like, so let's say you have this habit, like and you hit your why. What does it feel like to really have that, man? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's that core state that you're in when you have it? Is it the love? Is it peace? Is it calm? What is that, man? What do you feel out in your body? What does that feel like? What do you like? Close your eyes. What do you hear? What do you see? What do you smell? Like, what's the atmosphere like on your skin while you're there? Start to be there, because now this is where we can start to align. Now, if we have some, like, I'm speaking for myself. Whenever I have those poor habits, I'm in a poor mental state, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in a poor mental state. That's my, as I'm getting older, Brian. That's my telltale sign. I'm like, Wendy's. Where's my head at now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what emotion am I holding?
Yeah.
That was, bro. That was big for me, man. Last week, man, for Father's Day, I was like, bro. I was. That's when I took up that. That's when I started doing the intermittent fasting, so I could start to see
Mm.
what are my habits and what are my cravings.
Yeah.
Guess what, bro? When I was stressing, I was like, man, I was like, yo, man, I busted out the Wendy's app. I was like, yo, what are my rewards points? I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I can get a free thing of nuggets because I got like $7. Man, bro, I was like,
Yeah.
fuck it. Like, and I was like, oh shit. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've been stuffing
Yeah.
blank, 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 blank. And I'm like, oh, okay. Let me just
Yeah.
go breathe for a little bit,
Yeah.
man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
bro? It's like sick. And that's the habit change. My habit was, when I got stressed, I'm gonna go hit up fucking Wendy's. Now my habit is like, okay, pause, breathe. What's
Mm-hmm.
that thing? And now go breathe it out, man. Go get some water or something. Like, you missed your feeding time.
Yeah.
Wait till tomorrow at 11. You know what I mean? Like, it's different, man. It's different. People out
Yeah.
there, please recognize.
Yeah. Like I'm at a point like where I try to be I don't know, like what's the word? Like when I mean, not every day I'm going through. I'm having a great day, you know. So when I have like the other day, I woke up, I was just whatever it was. I was in a pissed off mood, man. I don't know what it was. I didn't sleep well that night or whatever it was. I had a lot of
Yeah.
things on my plate and some aggravation. But it's like then you're kind of like in this like kind of slump, and it's like I catch myself now. I'm like, all right, that's my mind. That's my mind talking. My mind's absolutely useless at recalling doing these emotions. It's absolutely useless right now. I need to focus on more of like being present, more on the spiritual aspect, more on my soul. I need to take 5 minutes and just contemplate with an affirmation or something like that, and just chill. You got to put yourself in timeout. You got to
Yeah,
put
man.
yourself in
Oh,
timeout.
I dig that, bro.
Mm.
That's, what I gotta tell you, man. Bro, that's such a great thing you
Mhm.
said, man. Put yourself in freaking timeout.
Yeah,
Like, really breathe. Like, what's really coming up, man? But that was
exactly.
listen. Let me tell you. That's what my Father's Day was like. It was just breathing. I was like, yo. I was like, what's coming up? I was
Yeah,
like, oh wow, okay, thank you.
yeah. because
Oh, me
it
too.
just riles you up even more, man. Because you go down this path, this imaginary path that your mind plays on. You just riles you up, riles you up, riles you up,
Right.
and it's like you're
Yo.
just like your cortisol. You're like then it's like, you know,
Bro, it's like, wait a second, none of this stuff will even happen. And if it does,
yeah,
it's okay. It's okay. It's fine, man. Damn.
yeah,
Listen, this was I dig what we were talking about here. So Brian, like, just to start to wrap up about the habits piece, because we can take a topic and take it to many places, but so
yeah,
like with everything that we went through today, what would you like? Let's each give a takeaway for the
yeah.
people that they can munch on, man.
Yeah, I would do goal setting. I would do goal setting, and once you have a goal setting, whatever it is, say you want to lose, I don't know, you say you want to lose like 50 pounds by the end of the year. All
Mm-hmm.
right, you know, every month you need to drop whatever 8 pounds or whatever, like whatever. I don't even know the math off the top of my head. Say you want to drop 50 pounds, do a retro analysis, go
Yeah.
backwards. So basically, it breaks down every day you need to do something. What do you need to do?
Mm.
Build those habits around those days. Start with one or two things. Don't go crazy. Like
Yeah.
people try to change like 20 things at once.
Mm-hmm.
Try to find one or two things that you can change for this month.
Right.
After that, a habit should be in there. You should have those already. Those synapses should be firing. Neuroplasticity taking over. You have those one or two. Say you have two habits in there, and whether it be do an extra 5 minutes on the treadmill, whatever it is, eating an extra cup of broccoli or whatever. Next month, get into two more habits.
Yeah, man.
By the end of the year, you have 24 new habits that you'll be a totally different person. Just start small, work your way up,
Yeah.
celebrate, goal setting, retro analysis, break it down by quarter, break it down by month, break it down by day, and that's
Mm.
it. And then once you find that, and you'll get excited, you'll be like, oh man, that's I can do that.
Yeah. I
So
dig that.
you know
You're a
that'd be my
mastermind,
2 cent
bro.
takeaway.
You're a mastermind. I
Mm.
like as the more we sit and have these sessions, and the more I get to see, the more I get to experience how your mind works. Like you're a mastermind, bro. I can imagine your mind is just like like all
Well,
intricacies. Like I'm
I
like,
have those
oh
like cartoon
shit.
bubbles all around me. Like I have probably about 1,000 cartoon bubbles, and I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah,
reach for this one
bro.
now, reach for this one now.
I
Like
get it. I get
like
it.
I've done public speaking in the past, and everyone's like, oh, you should write out what you want to say. I'm like, dude, I can't do that,
No.
man. My brain doesn't work that way, man. Just
Yeah.
let's wing it.
Yeah.
Let's see what
Yeah.
happens.
I'm like, it's interesting, right? Because I'm very similar to that. Like I have like
Hmm.
these worker bees. Like I have a thought, and it's like I have a worker like off on the table. Like okay, focus on that. Focus, blah blah blah. But like to have a script for something is difficult
Hmm.
for me. I prefer to have an outline. So it's like okay, that's the point. I'm going. Okay, cool. How many minutes? 10. I got it.
Yeah,
Boom. You know what I mean? So it's like
yeah.
okay, I'm talking this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like a duck. Everyone's like, "You're so calm, cool, collective," but like in my head, I'm like, like calculating things. I'm like, yeah. I don't want to say a duck's my spirit animal, but like I don't know. I
Yeah,
like
you
to think of something a
Alex,
little more powerful. Maybe boost my ego a little bit.
can we get a powerful? Can we
You
get a
know,
powerful power animal,
yeah.
please?
I need a little something a little more powerful.
If we were in a shaman journey and a duck came in, the duck would be like, "Fuck you, man."
Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck, man, duck, really, man. I was like, man, I'm good. I want my money back, Paul. This shaman journey's crap.
Oh, that's classic. That's
Mm,
classic. Bless up to the duck. Bless up to the
yeah,
duck,
bless up to the
man.
duck. Who doesn't like a duck?
It's really it's. I think it's really cool to have these kind of conversations because I think it's good for people to hear this kind of perspective and really get a another layer of making change, like lasting change. Man, we talked about this in the beginning. Sustainable change, people. Sustainable. So, Brian, I appreciate what you did, what you said there, and I think that approach is powerful because, like, you have your end in sight, and it's like it's methodical. For me, I would say something very similar to what I was saying before is take a real look at what your vision or goal is versus what your results are now. Like that to me is the clearest path to figure out what habits that I'm teaching myself right now. That what are the habits like that like I want to, okay, like if that's that one, and okay, what happens when I tweak this? Because I think the key thing that with habit that I'm finding for myself is that it's a small subtle change that can shift everything. So if I'm taking like, and it's like, and it's a replacement, right? It's like when I look at the goal or the vision, and then I'm looking at, okay, where are my results right now? And then I look at what I do, what's something that I'm going to trade out, and what am I trading it out for? And I heard a lot of that in what you're saying too. It's like, okay, if I'm trading out, like, pumping out some knuckle children, if I trade that for push-ups, like, that's going to be more in alignment with my goal of, like, reducing body fat or staying active. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a different kind of active. It's
Mhm.
like one's draining my seed, and one's draining my muscles, and one's building it. So um, it's that's my takeaway. Like look at the goal, and then look at the results, and then that's your starting point. And have a real conversation. Like really look at your shit. Like because I think when thing that I find when I'm mentoring people, and then I like it's like they see what they tell me, what I hear what they say, and I reflect it back at them. They're like, I didn't say that. Like actually, hold on.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like you did. It's okay. It's just we got to know where it is, and most of the time, people fail to take a really hard look at their shit, and it's understandable because that can be dense in fear and fear. You mentioned before that's one of the powerful emotions, man. Fear and love. So,
Yep.
bless up to what we did here, man.
That's it.
Bless up to what we did here. And by the way, if you like what we did here, then share this. Share it, damn it! Like share it. Put some comments in
Yeah.
too, because when we do these, we're curious to hear from you, and that also helps us to curate the content to be something that's going to benefit you. Because chances are, if it's going to benefit you, it's going to benefit other people.
Yeah,
It's
if
going
you're
to.
stuck and you need to kind of figure out like a little bit of a plan on like what habits should I do? This is what my goal, and these are this is what the habits I was thinking about doing. Do you have any suggestions? Write them in the comments.
Yeah.
Paul and I'll be checking it up. We'll answer you back as quickly as we can. Yeah, again, subscribe, share, please
Yeah,
help
and
us out.
listen, and stay tuned because like as we're building these out and like we're looking at these topics that we're covering, like we're really looking we're really looking at building out our consulting and our coaching phase too. So if there's some places that you are in life, like Brian and I have a lot of experience over a lot of different things. So there's a lot of ways that we may be able to ask some questions. Not may be able to. We can ask some
Mhm.
questions and be able to help you guide yourself into what's your best alignment. So stay tuned for that coming soon.
That's it.
Other than that, man, Brian, I'm good to go. Brian, any last words, bro?
No, man, I said what I had to say, and stay tuned, guys.
Bless
What's up?
up. Yo. Peace, bro.